For a lot of people, the modern career path feels trapped between two very unappealing options. You can take on a staggering amount of college debt and hope for a white-collar office job, or you can perform physical labor in a trade that most assume comes with a hard ceiling on what you can earn. But there is a specific construction job in the United States that breaks this mold. It pays a median of over $106,000 a year, requires no college degree, and the application fee to get started is exactly $25. This is the elevator constructor. These are the mechanics who build, maintain, and fix the vertical machines that modern society uses constantly, yet we almost people who keep them running. If the barrier to a six-figure income isn't massive tuition, something else has to be keeping the supply of these workers so small. Getting into this trade is a physical and intellectual gauntlet. It demands a rare combination of traits: the physical courage to operate in a highly dangerous environment, and the raw cognitive intellect to troubleshoot complex machinery. The initial barrier is a strict aptitude filter called the Elevator Industry Aptitude Test. You sit for 100 questions, dividing reading comprehension, mechanical logic, and math. It is scored pass-fail, and if you score below a 70%, you are dropped immediately. You can only take this test when a local recruitment window opens. Major cities strictly cap their applicant pools, meaning these application windows can snap shut almost as soon as they open. Even if you pass the test and clear the interview with the Joint Apprenticeship Committee, you do not get a job right away. You get a rank on a hiring list. You might wait up to 2 years before a contractor finally calls your number. When that call finally comes, you start as a probationary apprentice. But you are put on payroll from day one, earning exactly 50% of a full mechanic's wage right out of the gate. This entry process is not about buying a credential. It is a calculated filter for patience and capability, designed to find people who can learn deeply complex systems while simultaneously working full-time on a construction crew. Over the next 4 years, you have to log 8,000 supervised hours on the job. The workplace itself is an extreme environment, consisting of dark pits, cramped crawl spaces, and towering open hoistways. This chart compares fatal injury risks across construction trades, and the data does not flatter this profession. Elevator construction carries the highest risk of fatal injury of any occupation on this list. To break that down further, roughly half of all elevator-related deaths in America are workers, and of those worker fatalities, half are caused specifically by falling into the shaft itself. Yet, surprisingly, the day-to-day injury rate in this trade is actually below the overall construction average. The job rarely wounds, but it never forgives a mistake. Survival here demands a specialized type of physical discipline, where safety protocols are never optional, and situational awareness is the only thing standing between you and the void. That physical discipline has to run parallel to a demanding academic schedule. Apprentices are required to complete roughly 600 hours of rigorous classroom instruction at night, completely alongside their daytime physical labor. A modern elevator is a massive computer designed to carry people, driven by miles of wiring and intricate logic gates. By the end of the curriculum, apprentices must prove their troubleshooting skills on a virtual simulator loaded with over 350 specific, real-world electrical and logic faults. Hunting down a broken circuit through a dense controller works the exact same cognitive muscles as debugging software code. Because of the heavy physical stakes involved, this work functions as large-scale field robotics. This intense dual demand explains exactly why the job commands such a high premium. Contractors are paying for someone who can execute precise, software-level debugging while suspended in a harness 50 stories above a concrete pit. Looking at this chart comparing the two 4-year paths, the difference is stark. On one side, a traditional student graduates with compounding debt. On the other, the apprentice reaches full pay scale without a single tuition bill. At the top of that staircase is a mean annual wage of $109,820, which absolutely dwarfs the national average. This high wage is sustained by pure macroeconomic leverage. Nationwide, there are only about 24,000 of these highly trained, licensed professionals, and they are incredibly hard to replace. Because the barrier to entry is so difficult and the labor pool remains so small, the workers themselves hold massive negotiating power to secure safe conditions and top-tier pay. A high-earning future no longer requires choosing between your intellect and your physical labor. It belongs to those willing to master blue-collar tech, operating in a high-risk physical environment while simultaneously billing for the high-level computing needed to control it.